The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Game Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Bank for better. Sign up today. Use the bet code SGPN to get a $25 deposit bonus. And welcome everybody to the NBA Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Game Podcast Network. It's currently Saturday night, May 24th, around 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Russell Reichel once again going with Lonte here to get into the Game 3 matchup between the Knicks and the Pacers. Believe it or not, Terrell may or may not have been scheduled for this game, and I decided to not make him do it. So we decided to give him the day off because, once again, pretty rough stretch of basketball for the Knicks. We'll get into the recap of the Game 2 action in a second. Lonte, though, how's it going with you? Unfortunately, we might be headed to two very quick series, which is not fun. But in general, how are you enjoying the action?
Man, not bad. I thought the game was good, though. I mean, maybe not the result for Knicks fans, but really good game. But yeah, I'm enjoying good Saturday, man. We got some good weather here, so just enjoying it. Got the baseball going, so yeah, ready to talk some hoops though.
Yep, I do want to point out that the Yankees actually did beat the Rockies today, so a good baseball day for us. But I do want to point out that the baseball cards are doing a good job of, I'd say, carrying the emptiness now that we have in the NBA, because with the conference finals now in action, we used to have some day games going on Saturdays and Sundays where you'd have something to tie you over. We had some good WNBA games, though. You had the Fever against the Liberty today. But the point is, for the most part, baseball's been doing a pretty good job, at least for me, of distracting me from the absence of NBA action that I'm so accustomed to having on Saturday. But overall, should be a pretty fun Game 3, both tonight with the Thunder series and Game 3 taking place tomorrow between the Knicks and the Pacers. Before we get into the actual recap of Game 2, a reminder, they have a discount code on the merch store right now. So we're having a promo code, which is 20% off everything in the merch store by using the code DGENS at checkout. So NBA Gambling Podcast stuff, you can use Tennis Gambling Podcast stuff, WNBA Gambling Podcast stuff, you name it. Point is, whatever the merch you actually want, the discount applies to. Don't forget to use discount code, once again, DGENS at checkout for 20% off everything in the merch store. Starting off with the first game that we have to talk about, which is, of course, the recap of Game 2 before getting into Game 3. The Knicks lost again. They've lost both games at home. We have seen the exact opposite situation from the Knicks last round against the Celtics, where they stole both games on the road. Now the shoe's on the other foot. So the Knicks have lost officially both games at home. Thibodeau, we're going to talk about in a second. Not a good game by him, but the Knicks ended up losing a close game, 114-109. Pacers were off to a great start immediately. Knicks came back, and then the Pacers were able to jump the Knicks early in the second half to set the tone again. Fourth quarter was close. Pacers jumped them again early, and the Knicks tried to come back at the end, fell a bit short on that Brunson missed three-pointer, and the Pacers got the rebound, hit some free throws, game was over. So I'm going to ask you where you want to start, because the Knicks definitely needed that game. It was a must-win game, and it came down to the wire, but Indiana once again did just enough to outlast the Knicks and win the game on the road.
Yeah, I mean, start off with just credit to Indiana, man. They weathered the storm. Pascal was unbelievable in that first half, kind of carrying them. I think he had a little bit over half of their points in that first half. I mean, he was getting to wherever he wanted, whenever he wanted. I thought the defense for the Knicks, was a little bit better outside of some pick and roll stuff. But once they finally got into a rhythm of getting that high pick and roll with Cat, like Cat has been he's been awful. Like he's been completely awful in the series defensively. Like
it's not Enes Kanter bad, but it's not good. I'll tell you that much. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean it's close, man. He is getting barbecued. Like every pick and roll, he's getting scorched, and he's playing so deep in the paint and the drop coverage that I mean they're walking into mid-range jumpers, or Tyrese is just stepping back and hitting a jumper, or like Nembhard had a couple going. Like and I understood why. I mean, I know we're going to talk about Tibbs, but I understood why Tibbs didn't put him in the game to start. Like, I get it. Like, he was getting roasted, and they had no answer for it. Brunson was getting roasted as well. I didn't think he did. I thought he did a bad job of, turning the ball over. Although he had 9 assists, but I didn't think it was a great floor game by him by any means. So credit to the Pacers defensively. I mean, I just got to give credit to the Pacers, man, because I was completely wrong on both of these games. Completely wrong. Well, not totally wrong, because I picked the Knicks to win in 7, so it's still a slight chance. But man, credit to the Pacers, man. They are resilient. I just didn't see it seemed like when the Knicks got down, they kind of just like, okay, well, we're just gonna mail it in. Whereas the Pacers, they just relentlessly fight, and claw. And I mean, you got to respect that. Good job by Carlisle. I thought the UNC legend Tony Bradley minutes were big to match with Mitchell Robinson. Just having a big body out there. I mean, he didn't do a ton, but just having a big body out there to kind of battle with Mitch and try to keep him off the glass and be as physical with him as possible. I thought that was beneficial to them. So, man, credit to Carlisle. Did a great job with the rotations. And, man, credit to Indy. I mean, they got 2 more to win, but, they get 3 at home. So, it's uphill climb for the Knicks, but they're resilient also. And, I mean, I don't know what to expect in this game, to be honest. I mean, spoiler, I don't know what to expect from them in this game, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, I do want to point out, by the way, Bradley did a lot because it allowed Carlisle to stop playing Thomas Bryant, who got killed every time he was on the court. So I like how Carlisle was immediately willing to pull the plug. And every time Bryant came in the game, he said, listen, you can't play. And he just said, I don't know who else I have on the team. Wait, I have a guy who had a 10-day contract back in March. Yeah, sure. Let's try Bradley out. Let's throw him out there. And I thought he was actually okay.
Yeah,
so I like the fact that Carlisle pulled the plug immediately on what I thought was a mess of a performance by Thomas Bryant in the series so far. Pulled it, and Bradley was not great, but he was better than Bryant, and that's all he needed. So overall, good job by him. The Cat situation, I'm going to agree with you. It is a bit of a hotter take because I know a lot of Knicks fans were annoyed that Cat only played 28 minutes or so in the game yesterday. I was fine with it, actually. He was a negative 20 in 28 minutes. I thought he was horrific. He couldn't guard anybody. He was getting targeted every time, not to mention the obviously dumb fouls he'll have 3 of per game. He had a couple of those too. I thought Cat was, especially defensively, a liability for most of the game. And the fact is, he decided, Tibbs being, I have to switch something up. He played Robinson a lot. I know Robinson might have rolled his ankle at the end. We'll see how bad the injury is. But he was great. He was +6 in 29 minutes. He had 6 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. I thought that he was definitely a big reason why the Knicks defense stepped up towards the end of the first quarter and the early second quarter. I think in the first half, he played 16 straight minutes.
Yeah, he did.
Think
he did.
He was exhausted, but I respect the fact that Tibbs recognized, I need this guy on the damn floor because he's going to help cover up a lot of issues we're having defensively, because not even just Cat, a lot of guys have not had great series defensively. And the fact is, Robinson can help cover a lot of that up with the rim protection and the switchability. So I was not that big, I'd say, of a hater towards the Cat benching. I understood the vision. I feel like I might have brought him back in with a couple minutes to go because you needed to score. And I feel like just having the 3-point threat of Cat was necessary when you were down like 9 or 6 with a minute and a half to go. I would have punted defense at that point and just tried to get some points in. But then again, they cut it to 3, had a shot to tie the game. The Cat benching, I thought, actually worked out pretty well for them. I thought the main issue I had was a whole separate point, which I'll get to in a second. But I'll ask you about Cat because I feel like in Game 3, the same thing's going to happen. My question is, what can Cat or the Knicks do to change coverages to hide Cat? Because we know all year long, we roasted the rim protection numbers, we roasted the defense for the last couple of years. He's an atrocious defensive center against a very high-octane offense that will target him every time. So what can the Knicks really do?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I mean, I think Tibbs is asking himself that because he's so good and so he's so gifted offensively that it's kind of like you got to have a trade-off. But he's just getting he's getting smoked in that pick and roll every single time. And the Pacers they don't generally do the matchup hunting to the extent that other teams do. Like they pretty much run their stuff. And then if they find something here or there, they'll go to it. But they constantly were finding him in that pick and roll. And if it wasn't him, it was Brunson. And I thought that the 2 big lineup was a little bit better because they were able to hide him in the corner. And they were able to put Mitch in that pick and roll. And Mitch is way better at defending. But I think the effort is just not there for Cat. I don't see a ton of effort from him. I mean, he's just so far back on that pick and roll. It's a lot of
there's drop coverage and DeAndre Jordan drop coverage. He's playing DeAndre Jordan drop coverage.
Yeah, and this is one of the best mid-range shooting teams in the league. Like they have been for the past 2 or 3 years. So I don't understand why he's not going up a little bit more. So I mean, if you're gonna do anything, I would probably blitz a little bit more and then just have your rotations on the backside kind of counter that. But to answer your question, I mean, he's just got to be better. I don't think it's a schematic thing. He's not showing any kind of effort at all. I mean, like you can see them getting confused and like pointing at each other. I mean, Cat was just like all over the place. Like he's not running back on defense. He's complaining a lot to the refs on offense. I think the effort level just has to be up. And if he's going to do anything schematically, I would probably blitz Tyrese a little bit more, or just tell your guard, hey, you got to fight over that screen. Like you got to just fight over and make him stick his leg out, and maybe you get an offensive foul, but you can't let him, go under that screen. Like you got to fight over it.
Besides going under, are you going to start hedging? Do you trap now? Do you ice screens?
Yeah, I mean, you got to
change something.
You got to try something because obviously in 2 games it's not work. Like it's evident. Like it's evident that he is just getting barbecued with no effort. Like he's not even sliding his feet or anything. Like it's horrible. So I think first of all, Cat has to put in the effort, number one, and then number two, I mean, you kind of can mix some things up as far as like you said, hedging. I prefer them to do a lot more blitzing. Tyrese doesn't see a ton of blitzing, so I'll be interested to see what they do in the blitz scenario. Well, because I think the defense on the backside is good enough to kind of rotate and scramble drill.
I think it is, but it also could be problematic because if you end up blitzing and you end up setting up basically a 4-on-3, Indiana's so selfless and the spacing is so solid, you might end up giving up a bunch of free layups at the rim.
Would you go zone?
The problem is they tried zone with the backup lineup in, and they gave back-to-back threes to Shepard and Siakam.
Yeah.
And they immediately went out of the zone because you just saw 2 incredible play designs by Carlisle against the zone where McConnell's dribbling through the middle, and then they just send Shepard out to the top of the key, wide open 3. Then they blow a coverage because Cam Payne and Mitchell Robinson both go to the low man, and Siakam's wide open for 3.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
And Tibbs said, you know what, we're never trying zone ever again, and they just gave up on the zone. So
I mean, but you got to
try it. It didn't work last game.
Yeah, you got to try something, man. I think they've been more. I think they've been more efficient with the 2 big lineup. I really do. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I do think they've been a little bit more effective with that 2 big lineup. But I'm interested to see how Mitchell responds because you can tell that his energy went down a little bit after he rolled that ankle. I mean, he wasn't like the same. He was still giving effort, but you can tell he wasn't moving the same. And I think that kind of like previewed Indiana to kind of get to the glass because they got a couple of a big offensive rebounds down the stretch that they probably wouldn't have normally got if Mitch was kind of at 100%. So.
A pure scramble like effort drills where you see Nembhard running around tapping balls, and Neesmith had a couple as well. A lot of effort there. And that helped Indiana ice the game potentially. I do want to point out, though, when you talk about adjustments that could be made, I'll get to the Thibodeau stuff in a second, don't worry. Do you have to bench Josh Hart? Because you're mentioning the double big lineup here, and if Hart's not going to be an offensive threat, and you want to play Robinson 30 minutes, assuming he could handle it, and assuming the ankle's not too bad, you have to punt Hart, right? Because Bridges and Anunoby can at least shoot.
Yeah, that's another thing. I kind of like Hart, but
I like him as a player too. But this matchup doesn't seem to be working for him.
Yeah, something's off. I don't know if it's just like schematically, but he's getting the looks, just not making them. And then I thought he was really good in game 1, but game 2 he kind of looked lethargic. I think he only played like 24 minutes up until the 4th quarter, and he's generally like top 2 or 3 in the league in minutes played.
Yeah.
Before you get to the Tibbs thing, like I thought Tibbs did a horrible job in the 4th quarter. It was tied with like 81-81, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm getting to that. I was saving that to the end.
Yeah,
I wanted to mention the Josh Hart thing.
Yeah, we're on the same page with that. But yeah, the Josh Hart thing, I'm kind of torn between because he gives you a lot more of those offensive rebound opportunities to kick out for threes. But again, you got to sacrifice something. And I guess who would you play? You would go with McBride a little bit more. I mean,
either McBride or if you want to just go for the double big lineup and Hart's the odd man out, you go Brunson, OG, Bridges, Cat, and Robinson.
Yeah,
I think Hart was solid in game 1 because he ended up having 13 rebounds, 7 assists, but he's only had 14 points in the entire series. He can't shoot.
Yep.
He had the one game against the Celtics where he hit like 6 threes, so they were daring him to shoot. But the point is, if Hart's not going to help space the floor properly, then what's the point? Because their defense is getting killed anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
And you could play Cat, of course, as a stretch 4 and let Robinson roam for screening and do that kind of thing.
Yeah, he got to do a little bit. Yeah, I mean, everything's on the line here, man. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see players we haven't seen before. Maybe see some Achua. Like you got to do something, man. You got to, because what you're doing is not working. Game 1, okay, that's fine. You let one get away. Game 2, you got outplayed by one guy in the first half. You were, I think, towards the middle of that 3rd quarter, they went on a little run there. I think Carlisle does a really good job of like stop the bleeding before it gets like
Yeah.
really, really bad.
Oh no, his timeouts are usually pretty solid.
Yeah, he does a really good job of that. And I thought they came out, and I want to say that Siakam got a and one off the pump fake on Mitchell Robinson, and that brought him within maybe like 3. And like that, they got to be better at like being able to, okay, we're up 6. Let's kind of extend this to 10-11 and not go down to, okay, it's tie game. So I thought they got to do a better job of that. But again, they haven't been playing a lot from in front. So I don't know if they just are better off coming from behind, or like I don't understand the like game or the mindset when they're in this game and they're playing from in front, because they've been in a position to win both of these, obviously the first game, but they were in position to win this game more times than not.
Yeah, they were up at the half.
Yeah, and I thought they were. I mean, they should be in trouble because of Tyrese said it in the post game. He was like, "Hey, we played probably the worst that we're gonna play outside of Pascal, and we're only down 3." So, like, I thought that was telling as well. But yeah, man, he has to do something, bro. Tibbs has to do something.
Yeah, and that's going to take us to the last point, and we're already at the 16-minute mark. We have one game. This is also going to segue into Game 3, so it's why we're kind of spending more time on the Game 2 stuff. I got to mention the start of the fourth quarter. I agreed with you about the Cat benching. Did not bother me. I thought Cat was horrible. I was fine with benching him. They're tied to start the fourth quarter. A reminder that this is Tibbs we're talking about.
Right.
The guy that will play all of his starters 45 minutes in a random regular season game in January. And yet the biggest game of the season, a must-win game at home to avoid going down 2-0. This man started campaign for this fourth quarter. Are you out of your damn mind? Brunson's on the bench. I don't care if he's sick. I don't care if he's injured. Doesn't matter. It's a tie game in a home must-win playoff game. You have to play Brunson for the entire fourth quarter. You don't have a choice. Nobody else is doing much offensively. You need Brunson, who they still can't guard. He hit every mid-range shot he could think of last game.
That was so impressive. He was hitting literally everything.
It was just guaranteed isolation offense. So you had to use him. And he decides, you know what? We're going to bench Anunoby and Brunson for Robinson and Payne. So you're playing 3-on-5. You're playing 3-on-5 offensively for about 3 minutes. They get outscored by 9 over those 3 minutes. They bring Brunson back in. They lose the game by 5. You started campaign in the fourth quarter of a tie game?
Yeah, that's
in the conference finals?
That's horrible, yeah.
That's where my mind was blown on that. You are out of your damn mind.
Yeah,
Campaign should have never touched the floor again. When he dribbled down the court, basically bounced the ball off his own face and fell over for a turnover in the first half. He should have never been on the court again after that. Campaign is not a good basketball player. And the fact is, I know that he's occasionally a heat check guy. He thinks he's the best player on the court whenever he steps on the court, when he's always number 10. That's not a good sign, but the point is, Payne got run time. If it was McBride, I would have been more okay with it. I still would have had an issue with it anyway.
McBride's played well, though.
There's no way after that first half that Payne had that he should have ever seen the court in the fourth quarter, let alone of a tie game to start the fourth quarter when you're down 1-0 in a playoff series. That is nuts to me. That is coaching malpractice. That was one of the dumbest decisions I've seen in the entire round. The Cat benching, fine. The Payne one was crazy. At least keep Anunoby on the court so maybe he can actually shoot. You bring Mitchell Robinson in and campaign? How are you going to score points? It doesn't make any sense.
Because Josh Hart was on the bench too.
Let me actually see who else was
Josh Hart, OG, and Brunson all started at fourth on the bench.
Bridges was there, Cat was there, and I actually don't know who else was on the court.
I think Mitchell and Payne.
I think it was McBride. Did they use McBride and? Yeah, they used McBride too. They had McBride and Payne out there with no OG. Okay, so wait a second. The lineup to start the quarter was Payne at the point guard, McBride at the shooting guard, Bridges at the small forward, Cat at the power forward, and Mitchell Robinson at the 5. What the hell are we doing, Tibbs? What the hell is that?
Yeah, that's bad, man.
As your shooting guard, McBride? Come on, man. Brunson.
It didn't last like 1 or 2 minutes. This was like
they got killed. They got absolutely murdered. They lost by 9 in 3 minutes, and they lost the game by 5. It was absolutely insane. Yeah, I feel like if you were going to make the argument for Brunson being exhausted, a reminder that he was in foul trouble in Game 1, he didn't even play 45 minutes in Game 1. Like, he was fine. Brunson played 39 minutes. Great. In the regular season in July, regular season in January, you're playing him 44. He's got to play 43 plus minutes. It's a must-win game.
For me, 48.
48, whatever. You want to give him a Jokic breather in the second quarter? Fine.
Yeah.
But like 39 minutes, Tibbs, you play everybody 45 minutes. You have no choice.
I agree with that.
It was mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
A McBride and Payne backcourt to start the fourth quarter with Brunson on the bench is inexcusable. And as far as I'm concerned, fireable. He might keep his job anyway because they made the conference finals.
Yeah, he's going to keep
I'm just saying, that is something that cannot happen. That is absolutely nuts unless Brunson went to the locker room with some injury, which he did not. That's the only way that would actually make any sense. He benched Brunson for no reason and put himself in a 9-point deficit for no reason. It was insane.
That's horrible. Yeah, I mean, we can go on and on, but yeah, that's you cannot do that. They're sitting there for like 5 minutes. It's like 4 minutes.
It ended up being 3.
What are you doing?
It might have
at least one of them back.
It might have been set up for 4 or 5, but it was so bad they rushed Brunson back after 3 minutes. It was 3 minutes.
Yeah, that was just, bro. That was so bad. I mean, and you know that they have the depth because their lineup. I think they still had Tyrese on the bench because he generally starts the fourth on the bench and then comes in to close. I want to say they had maybe Nembhard on the bench as well. Another starter, one of the two.
It was McConnell cooking. I don't remember if Siakam was on the court or not though.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I know Tyrese generally starts the fourth quarter on the bench. But
he did, and I know McConnell played well. So.
He's been amazing.
I swapped the podcast. I had Brunson points and I had McConnell alt PRA.
Yeah, he's been amazing.
As a monster.
Every time he shoots the mid-range, I think it's going in.
I love McConnell. He's such a good backup point guard. He's so good. The Nash dribble around the baseline is just so good.
And then he holds it.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah.
His PRA is so good in all these games.
Yeah.
But either
it's gonna be like 16 plus tomorrow.
It might be. I got it at 13.5. He had like 15. It was great. So I ended up sweeping the pod. It felt good. But either way, anything else you want to add? I know we're going to move on to game 3 in a second. We have an ad read to do, but it's going to segue, which is why we spent 23 minutes on it, because a lot of what we're going to talk about is what adjustments you can make from game 2. But I had to end off with the Cam stuff because that was the ultimate decision that has to be talked about, which was insane. So there you go. But you have anything else you want to add?
No. I think we pretty much hit it all.
So anyway, before we get into the actual preview of Game 3 of that same series, a reminder they're brought to you by EdgeBoost. They're the first ever bank account for bettors. A reminder, they're ensuring that all your gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, normal balance, cash rewards as well. All your gambling transactions are approved, including your betting deposits. Sign up today. EdgeBoost.bet, promo code SGPN. When you deposit $25, EdgeBoost match your deposit. EdgeBoost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Fantasy because they're going long for the NBA playoffs with their extender bonus. Hop in Game 1. And the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. To be honest, that promo kind of sucks right now, but we'll see what happens moving forward. That might be a rough boost. Anyway, point is, you could also sign up for a new account with the promo code NBSGPN. You get a special pick and a first-time deposit offer up to 1K bonus cash on Fantasy. Promo code NBASGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Game Podcast. Finished going through the recap of Game 2 in that Knicks and Pacers series. Time to move forward to Game 3. Pacers laying 2.5. Feels pretty short, to be honest, but still. Laying 2.5. Over-unders at 223.5. For the injury report, we're assuming everyone's fine. Robinson rolled his ankle. He better play if the Knicks want to have any chance of winning this game. But either way, point is the Pacers are up 2-0. They're going back home. So the same thing in the Cavs series, though, last round. And the Cavs did win Game 3 in Indy. So we actually did see the road team kind of fight back a little bit. I'll ask you this, though. Do you agree with me, though? 2.5 feels very short.
Yeah, it does. And, I mean, just numerically, it's probably about right because they opened 4.5 in Game 1, which is probably the true power rating. And then you adjust it from the must-win for the Knicks, and you get to, the 5.5, 6, or 6.5, whatever it was. But, yeah, I think it is probably a little short being of what we saw. And, I mean, let's just think about it. Like, the Pacers haven't played a complete game. They haven't played well. Like, Pascal played well in one half. They all didn't play well in that first game until Nesmith, turned into Steph Curry.
Yeah, they had arguably the greatest offensive stretch in the final 6 minutes in like an NBA playoff game of all time. But besides that, they haven't really done much consistently.
Yeah, and that was pretty much just one player doing that.
Pretty much.
So, they haven't played well. I mean, I know Tyrese had a double-double yesterday, but he was not particularly well. He had a lot of assists, but a lot of those were like transition, like pushing the ball. So I think that's one thing that the Knicks have to clean up. They have to get back in transition. I think they're
8 rebounds too, though. Halliburton did some stuff.
no. He was solid. But as far as him being like aggressive whenever they needed, like Pascal for after that first half, I mean, you can kind of see he was a little bit winded from like carrying him. So I thought Tyrese should have stepped up and been a little bit more aggressive on the pick and roll. But what he was doing was he was kind of getting the switch, trying to find the cutters, and the Knicks have not been doing a good job in the half court of defending those cutters. That's how Nembhard got over Hart late in game one in that overtime to put them up one. So I think the Knicks have to do a better job defensively, but just like from a pure like eye test perspective and what we've seen, 2.5 seems a little short. And I would say that it's more so a lot of uncertainty. We talked for 15, 20 minutes about the Knicks and what we would change. We have no idea what they're going to do. Like the Pacers, they still have another level to hit as far as how they play, like their performance. Like the Knicks played well in game 2. They played well in game 1. And they still lost. Like, so I got to take the Pacers here, man. I really do. At home, I know you're going to get a like heroic effort from the Knicks, but again,
do we know that? We thought we'd get that in game 2. Do we know that?
They'll come out and be fun because I think the Pacers came out on the road in both of those games in the first quarter and played really well. I think they were up 19-9 in the second quarter, and I mean in the first quarter, and then the Knicks fought back. So I think they'll come back and they'll play really, really well. But I think the Pacers will walk them down and end up winning the game, man. So I think the Pacers, I'll let it 2.5. I think they go up 3-0.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Pacers as well. The first thing that I thought of when this line came out was this line should be 4.5. I thought 2.5 was too low. I thought Indiana should be favored by 2 possessions, and we'll go from there. The Knicks, though, you're expecting the better effort. You're hoping for we need to win this one. Then what the hell was that in game 2? Because you got punched in the mouth. You were down 10 in 5 minutes. You no-showed the entire start of it. The one player. The one player. Siakam set the Pacers record, I think, for most consecutive points to start a playoff game.
And they were open. Like, he was wide open.
Yeah,
he was wide open.
But the Knicks, in that must-win game, no-showed the first 8 minutes, and I'm like, what are you even trying to do at this point? Yeah. Then they came back, they blew it again, and then they were able to make the game competitive, but then Tibbs sabotaged the game with the fourth quarter substitution pattern. So the Knicks might end up winning this game because the Pacers we saw kind of fumble the same spot in game 3. But I don't trust the Knicks enough to actually make the adjustments necessary to get back into the series. At the end of the day, Cat still can't guard anybody. Hart still can't shoot. The backup point guard situation's a mess. Payne better not see the damn floor if you're Thibodeau in game 3. They have problems. Brunson can get whatever he wants offensively, but Indiana's turned him mostly into an isolation guy, with the exception of all the flopping and the free throw stuff, whatever. Nobody else has really stepped up that much. Bridges had a pretty good fourth quarter. He had
Bridges is good in that fourth quarter. Yeah,
OG has been fine. I think he's been underwhelming for the most part. I think he was okay last game, but I've not been that impressed. Yeah. You don't have many consistent options offensively, and Indiana has about 4 guys at all times that can score 15-plus points in any given game. Yeah. It's a lot of depth that the Knicks don't have, and they need Brunson to be Superman to have a chance. If Brunson's bad, they're dead in the water. They got no chance. So they need one guy to carry them, basically, and he's been unable to do so, despite averaging about 40 in the first 2 games of the series. I'm going Indiana in this one. I see JT mentioning Miles Turner, who had a couple of bad possessions there, but he hit the big 3-pointer in the corner, which they needed to go back up 6, I believe.
It was horrible in the first half. He was horrible.
He was terrible. I'm like, oh, this is going to be rough. And then he hit the big 3 in the corner, got the big defensive rebound on the Brunson miss after bobbling the ball about 4 times.
Once again, wide open. Yeah. He had time to make a cup of coffee.
Either way, point is that Turner made the big shot there. Yeah. There was another shot that he bricked where he took a step back 3 when he could have just taken a free lane as a 7-footer.
Yeah. That was on top of the key. Yeah, I remember.
Whatever. A point is, they won the game. It's all that matters. But they have so much depth. That's why I picked Indiana to win the series. I just thought that they were the deeper team. Thought they would wear this team down. And it's tough with the Knicks when you're playing so few guys that you actually trust, and you're going up and down the court for 48 minutes. They're going to wear you out. And so far they have. So I'm going Pacers here in game 3. Think the line's too short. I'm not going to write the Knicks completely off. That's disrespectful. but I do think the Pacers are in a great spot, and I'm hoping for their sake, after punting Game 3 to Cleveland, I'm hoping they don't make the same mistake twice, and they actually dominate Game 3 and go up 3-0.
Yeah, I give them a little bit of leeway in that game because they hadn't played them at full strength, and that's when you got Garland, that's when you got Mobley. That's
Mobley was so good in that game.
Yeah, that's when you got all three of those guys back. The Knicks don't have that. They have all their players. They've lost the game that they should have won.
They've used the kitchen sink already. They're throwing everything they have.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
So I mean, how much the reason now? I think the Knicks do have a shot, but I don't. It's too much uncertainty. Like I think it'll be a good game, but it's too much uncertainty. It's just like we don't know what other options are they going to go to. Like, are you going to play more McBride? Are you going to cut out the paint minutes? Are you going to play Precious like on the perimeter? Because Precious.
By the way, forget about cutting the paint minutes. Are they going to cut Payne from the roster before the end of the series?
Yeah, and then like your transition transition defense has been horrible.
It's a mess.
Off of makes, I saw 3 or 4 times that they got the ball off of make, 2 dribbles, Siakam layup, Nembhard layup. Like that's uncalled for. Like that's bad. So I think the effort has to be a lot higher. And usually we don't say that with a Tibbs run team. They generally play hard. And I'm not saying that they didn't play hard, but I don't think they played hard enough to match.
I'll call out Cat for it. I think Cat wasn't playing hard.
No, Cat was not playing hard. Cat was not. Mikal Bridges was playing hard. Brunson playing hard. Mitchell, of course, playing hard. Like, yeah. But Cat, uncalled for, man.
That's the issue. That might be why the Knicks don't use that many double big lineups. It's because the pace the Pacers play at, you're forcing Mitch and Cat to run in transition. That just might not work out. I think you have to use it anyway.
Yeah, I think you do too, because of the defensive issues that you're having with just Cat on the floor. Like, so now if you have Mitchell on the floor, whenever he's playing a little bit of that drop coverage that they blow past, and they got Mitch on the help side, or Mitch can kind of help off of his guy depending on who he's guarding.
Or for pick and roll switches, but they're going to pick on Cat every time he's on the court. Yeah, and when not, they're going to pick on Brunson.
Yep.
So you're just.
Yeah, I think Brunson's effort is there. It's just, he's not
trying. He's undersized. It's not his fault.
Not that good. Yeah.
It reminds me of like when Steve Nash would get killed by Tony Parker every postseason against the Spurs, and it's like Nash really sucks at defense. Like, but he's trying his ass off.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
He's just not good. He's trying. Like Brunson's trying. He's just not a good defensive player.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
But I do want to ask you though, for the sake of the series, because I know we're both picking Indiana to win Game 3. First of all, over/under. It's tough because the Knicks have to go with Mitch playing more minutes, which would support the under. But Game 3 was ugly. Game 2 was ugly for the entire first half, and the game still almost went over because the second half exploded. Right. So I'm going to ask you: do you like the over or the under?
Yeah, I like the over. I mean, I think because of what you just said, I think the efficiency had been there, and you got to think like the Pacers got a lot of their points in the first half from just one guy, so they weren't spreading the ball out. I don't think either team shot the three particularly well. People think that the Pacers shoot a ton of threes. They don't really shoot a ton of threes. They kind of live in the mid-range at the rim. Hallie and Turner, they'll take their threes here and there, but Neesmith didn't really get going. I think Nembhard hit a couple early, but like I think both teams will be efficient in their scoring. I think the pace will be there. The Pacers obviously are going to try to run at their pace, and the Knicks have shown they've been able to run with them. It's just, can they sustain it for 48 minutes? So I still like the over. I think both teams, even if they walk it up and play that 2 big lineup, I think they'll be able to score efficiently, similar to what we saw with Brunson. I mean, he scored like 8 straight points doing the same. I mean, not the same move, but he's doing an iteration of that same move from either side.
Turn around left shoulder, turn around right shoulder. It's going.
And then somebody the defender switches on him, and they haven't seen it yet, and he pump fakes layup to the rim. Like, so that's efficient scoring by Jalen Brunson. He just got to get some help.
Okay. Do want to ask you, by the way, just in case you were wondering, last year they played. Series won 7. Do you remember how many road games the Knicks won in that series?
0.
That is correct. The home team won the first 6 games, and then Indiana won Game 7 on the road. So the Knicks have to do something they didn't do last year, which is win a game in Indiana.
But Brunson was out Game 6 and 7, right? Or did he hurt in Game 6?
Brunson, I don't think missed any games, but he couldn't move.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's what it is.
You want to hear a great joke, by the way? You know who actually led Game 7 in scoring?
I'll
give you a hint. He had 39 points.
Damn. Game 7? Obi?
Yeah. It was Dante DiVincenzo. He had 39 points in Game 7.
Oh, he was draining threes.
Yeah, they lost by 21. Nobody cared. But it's just worth pointing out DiVincenzo had 39 points. No, Brunson played in every game. He just ended up only having 10. He had 17 points. He couldn't move in that last game. But I do want to ask you, though, because I was going to bring it up earlier, but I'll bring it up now. We are both picking the Pacers to go up 3-0 in the game, in the series. I do want to ask you, though, if you want to know the historical context, no team in NBA history has ever lost the first 2 games at home in a conference finals series and won the series. It's never happened. So if the Knicks want to do this, they got to make history.
Yeah.
So just
Came
to be
close
clear,
with Denver, right? Came close with Denver.
yes, Denver. That wasn't the conference finals.
Oh, you said conference finals. Okay, I'm sorry.
Because
Yeah,
Minnesota lost to Dallas the round
Yeah,
after.
you're right.
No, so you have to lose the first 2 games of the conference finals at home and then come back and win to make it to the NBA Finals. Never happened before.
Gotcha.
I'll ask you, if you had to go for a % chance on the Knicks to come back and win this series, single digits, or you got it somewhere in the teens? What percentage you got?
I'll give it 11%.
Okay.
Jalen Brunson's number. Jalen Brunson is 11, right? Yeah. I'll
Yes.
give him, because he has to play 48 minutes, be efficient. He has to dominate the pace. He's got to get a little bit more from Cat, but I'll say 11%. They got 11% chance.
I'll go a bit lower because it's never happened before,
Mhm.
and because Tibbs is the head coach. If you had like Spoelstra or somebody else who would not be afraid of ripping the entire playbook out to come up with new stuff, maybe that can get interesting.
Yeah.
With Tibbs there, 5%.
Okay.
At this point.
That's fair.
You have to win 2 road games. And you have not even won a game in Indiana last year when you needed one too. It's rough. And the fact is, we mentioned all the flaws the Knicks have. I don't know what other moves they have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You mentioned Achua. I don't like Achua, but if you want to throw in some other guys who can help rebound and do some stuff, sure. They're kind of out of moves. Because Brunson's averaging about 40, and they've still lost both games.
Yeah.
It feels like Cleveland last round. Mitchell was averaging 40, and they still lost both games.
Yeah, but they had an excuse, though. They had guys banged up. The Knicks have no excuse.
No, but that's my point, though, is that the Cavs at least had an ace in the hole. They had Mobley missing game 2.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks have nothing. Like, I don't know what the Knicks are supposed to do besides hoping that Brunson and Cat and either Bridges or OG combine for what, like 75 in a game?
Yeah.
It's tough, and they can't get a stop. Defensively, they're a mess. So I'll go with a 5% chance the Knicks have of coming back and winning the series. Winning 1 game in Indy, maybe. 2 games, I don't see that happening. So I'll go with Indiana as well in the series, but you're going to give them an 11% chance because of Jalen Brunson.
Yes.
Anyway, do you want to ask you, though, for props in this game? Is there anything you actually like, any takeaways you saw from game 2 that might carry over into game 3?
Yeah, I'm going to take Mikal Bridges' PRA over. I think he's been pretty steady. He's been doing a good job defensively, as good as you can do. They probably got to flip that matchup and put more Mikal on Siakam than OG. I thought
he did a good job on Halliburton, though. So you kind of have to pick what you want to do.
Yeah, that's true. But I would probably put a little bit, because maybe Siakam's a little bit more familiar with how OG defends him, because they played together for so long and they were, for that championship run. So maybe you want to switch that up there. So I think, but Bridges, he's been consistent. He's been playing well. I thought that he's been the steady player that he should be, especially in the fourth quarter. Like, he showed up really good in the fourth quarter, while Brunson and OG were on the bench. So I think Mikal Bridges' PRA over is going to be one of my favorite plays of the night.
Yeah, if you want the number there, it's at 25.5.
Yeah, I like that.
For reference, he's had at least 27 each of the first 2 games. 25.5 is actually plus 110. You can find 24.5 at minus 114 on FanDuel. So you can go with that. If you want to go for the head-to-head, by the way, he has gone over this number just pulling it up right now, in 4 of the last 6 against the Pacers. So something to keep in mind. Plus, if you want to go for guys that need to play 40-plus minutes, Bridges played 45 last game and 46 in game 1. He'll play probably 45 again. So he's never going to leave the court. So I don't mind that angle. You have anybody else you want to talk about?
I was looking at Obi. I think Obi will have a bounce back game at home. And if the game kind of gets away from the Knicks, you'll obviously see a little bit more players in there. I also like Deuce McBride. I like his threes. He's been getting the looks. He's been getting the minutes. Just hasn't been able to knock 3. He'll knock his first one down early in the game, and then he just can't hit another one. Yeah. Which is so, and I've been betting it every game. I think I got plus 130 and then like plus 150. So I'm banking on him. You can get some plus money on that. I might ladder him to hit 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I wanted to take a shot with Mitchell Robinson blocks. 1.5's the alt line. It's plus 235. He might play 30 minutes.
Yeah, he might.
The problem is the messed up ankle. We'll see how bad it is because he's an injury-prone player. But I thought about that at plus 235. That could be an interesting angle there for a guy that needs to be on the court. because damn, Cat can't guard anybody. Robinson rebounds, though, is at 7.5. I didn't mind that. He's had 8+ rebounds in 6 of the last 7. That could be intriguing. -110.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I would look at that as well.
7.5. So that's an option if you want to go for it. He has gone over this number in each of the last 2 games against the Pacers. Played 30 minutes basically in game 2. Could be an option there. Thought about actually making a case for Mitch points if they go to the Hacker Robinson strat, which they actually went to a couple of times later on in that game. And we saw him split a couple of free throws, but 4.5, maybe. He caught a lob from Payne. It was the only good play Payne made all game. But you could argue maybe Robinson points is worth something. Yeah. I'll skip it. I'll just go with the rebounds there at 7.5. Brunson's been a monster. Do you want to go back to him? Do you want to avoid him? What would you do? Because Brunson right now,
I'm gonna stay away. But like, would I be surprised? No. But I'm gonna stay away from the high number, just in case all those other guys step up and have, if like OG, Mikal, and Cat have like 85 points there. I mean, between those 3, I'm gonna just bank on them playing well to win the game.
Yeah, I do want to ask you though, for the Pacers side of things, anybody you like or hate for the sake of props for this game?
I think we talked about it, but I don't think we actually bet it. But Nesmith went under, right? He had 12. It was lined at 12.5. I think he had 12 points.
Yes, I believe I saw a tweet saying 99% of bets were on the over, so I said you got to bet the under, and he ended up going under. So
I would go back to his under as well, man. I would go back to his under and look at some of those other role players. I would look at Turner's threes. He hasn't particularly shot the ball well.
Made the big one. Made the big one last game.
Yeah. So I think he'll be a little bit more consistent at home, especially if they go back to that 2 big lineup. I think they'll keep him on the floor and maybe put him. Maybe they'll run their own version of that 2 big lineup and maybe throw Tony Bradley out there to be more physical with Mitch. So yeah, I like Miles Turner's threes. I might ladder those as well.
Yeah, this might be a bit of a hot take, but I think I have to at least consider it. The Halliburton points are at 20.5. That's too high for me. I got to go with the under.
I would go under that. Yeah.
I understand the argument is that Halliburton can get hot from 3. The problem with Halliburton is that he doesn't really attack the basket looking to score as much as you'd kind of hope for a point.
But he's so good at it, though. Like, it's just...
He's good at it because he hits that floater. He could bank it in. He could also stop short if needed. But he hits these 3-pointers on drop coverage, which Cat's been a mess with. Besides that, though, a lot of it is driving, looking to kick. And I do think that 20.5 is a high number. Halliburton didn't shoot well last game. He still played well with the 8 rebounds and the 11 assists. But he was 3 of 10 from 3. I think he airballed a couple of threes in the game yesterday.
I think so.
He never goes to the free throw line.
Never.
He attempted 2 free throws in game 2. 20.5 points is massive for a guy that really does not manufacture many free points at the foul line or near the rim. He's basically having to shoot insanely well from 3 to get north of 20. And he did that against the Cavaliers in the closeout game in game 5 and game 1 against the Knicks. But if he's going to be passive, he'll pass the ball, get other guys involved, and he's not going to go crazy from 3. 20.5 is a massive line for a guy that never goes to the free throw line. I'll take the under 20.5.
Sure.
So I like that as an under there. Siakam at the monster game, he had 39. Are you going to pick Siakam to go back again with a solid game, or you think that they're going to keen in on him and focus on other guys to beat them?
I mean, I think he'll stay within that number, like between like 16 and 20. So it's kind of hard for me to gauge because he gets a lot. They don't run like I think the set the TNT set was talking about. They don't run a lot of sets for him. He kind of just gets it in certain spots. But I would look at Tyrese assists because he was saying how even though he had a double-digit number of assists, he was not getting guys involved as much as he should have been. So I would maybe look at his assists. I would look at maybe if you want to throw Siakam in a parlay. Like a 15+ point parlay with Tyrese assists and maybe Pacers win. I think you can get a really good price there. But I think the numbers properly aligned for Siakam.
Yeah, his number's at 20.5. Feels a bit high to me as well. I'd rather go. I think he ends up somewhere around like 18 in this game or something like that. Yeah. Anybody else you want to talk about? I have to at least give the update on TJ McConnell, my boy. Yeah. Still at 13.5 PRA, but that was plus money last game. This one's at -1.
You got to throw that in the underdog lineup.
So, yeah, we'll mention it in a second. He's had 16 each of the first 2 games. I love that damn guy. But it was plus 130 last game. Now it's -112. So there you go. They made some adjustments, but he's still very good. So keep that in mind. Shout out to Ben Shepherd, by the way, who made a couple of shots. So nice to see him getting some minutes and actually coming through. So that's kind of the thing about Indiana, though, compared to the Knicks. It feels like every Knicks actual shot attempted by a bench player, you're playing a game of roulette where each Indiana bench player feels like an actual like coin toss.
Yeah.
It feels like such a higher percentage chance of going in when it's a Pacers bench player compared to a Knicks bench player. Is that
I
fair?
agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
I see Jared mentioning why not taking just TJ points instead. Yeah, you could do that as well. That's 7.5. A 9.5 points is plus 168. He has had exactly 10 in each of the first 2 games. The concern is that he had no free throws in game 2. So
Hmm.
you'd have to rely a lot on mid-range jumpers and finding some separation against either Robinson or against Cat on switches. I don't mind that. 7.5, kind of a key number because you get 4 made 2-pointers, and he's not a good 3-point shooter. 8.5, those plus 122. I don't hate that too. That could be an option if you want to go for that as well. Anyway, anything else you want to mention? Should we move on to the lock and dog plays?
No, we can move on to the lock and dog.
Cool. So before we get into the lock and dog, a reminder that we are brought to you by our sponsor, which is Rhythm. Together, the home of ADVERTISE picks and props are available for the NBA playoffs, for the golf cards, for MLB, for WNBA as well. You can also check out their free trial for a week and remind the discount codes. They 20% off the monthly discount with the promo code SGPN25, 50% off the annual discount with promo code SGPN50. That's Rhythm, promo code SGPN25, SGPN50. Sign up for the 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com. That's RITHMM. We're also brought to you by Circle Ultimate Fantasy Bowl Giveaway because Circle Resort Casino in Las Vegas giving away the ultimate fantasy bowl experience for a 12-person league. The drafts in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for their stay. One will get a 2-night stay at Circle Resort Casino for the entire 12-person league. And a reminder, you can also get a cabana to draft your teams at Stadium Swim with a 5K food and beverage credit, limit transportation to the airport as well, and much more. Contest is from May 5th to June 30th. Sign up at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, circle sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Because MyBookie is placed in every sport. They have the NBA playoffs, they have the NHL playoffs, they have baseball, they have tennis, they have UFC, you name it. They're also available in a ton of locations. Use crypto for easy deposits, letting fast payouts. When you sign up for a new account, use the promo code SGPN to get a special 100% deposit match up to 1K. Terms and conditions apply. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Gambling Podcast. Finished going through the preview of Game 3. Now it's time for the lock and dog picks. Lonte, I'll let you go first. What's going to be your lock and dog for the show? You're on mute, by the way, if you didn't notice.
Yep, thank you. So let's start out with I know we like the Pacers in the game. I'm going to go Knicks first quarter, -0.5. You can get plus money on that. I think they have to come out and play extremely well, keep the crowd out of it, and keep them on their hands. They have to keep them on their hands because if Indiana gets rolling, I mean, they're a freight train. They're hard to stop once they get rolling. I don't think I've seen them blow a ton of leads. So they got to come out, dictate the pace. They got to be able to punch first. I think Jalen Brunson talked about that in game 1 and in game 2 at the end in the presser. So I think they got to come out, hit first, establish themselves. But then I think the Pacers kind of walk them down and they win in dramatic fashion. But I think it'll be a great game as the other two have been. So I'm going Knicks -0.5. That's plus 102 in the first quarter. I'm going to take another Nick for the dog. I'm going to go. I like Mikal Bridges. I think he's been consistent. I like him 20 points. That's at 2-1. I think he's been great. And he's been selective in the shots. He hasn't been really like hunting for his shots unless Brunson has been on a bench. But he's doing a really good job of initiating, rebounding. He's also like really good at steals and blocks. So he's everywhere on the floor. I think he'll be able to get to the rim a lot and post up a little bit more than what he has been. So I like him 20 plus points at 2-1.
Yeah, so for my lock and dog, the lock, I'm going to go with the Halliburton fade, actually. Give me the Halliburton under on his points at 20.5. I like Halliburton a lot as a player, but it's mainly for what he wants to do on the court, which is be a floor general, help the spacing, and of course, obviously, find open teammates. I do think 20.5 is a lot of points for a guy that needs to hit a lot of threes to actually get there. Doesn't attack the rim that much, never gets to the foul line, and I do feel like most of his attacking when it comes to switches is either taking these 3-pointers, which can be very volatile and streaky, or he gets downhill just to set up somebody else who's wide open, and he gets the assist. Point is, though, Halliburton, I think we'll end up with maybe 10 assists in this game. 20.5 points, though, is, in my opinion, a lot. He had back-to-back heaters in Game 5 against the Cavs and Game 1 against the Knicks. Came back down to earth here in Game 2. I'll also point out that Halliburton's actually scored less than 21 points in 3 of his last 4 games at home against the Knicks. So I do think he's in line for maybe an 18-11 game like we saw in Game 2. But I do think that 20.5 points is too high. Give me the under on Halliburton points there at around -110 on Caesars. For my dog, I'll go with the Mitchell Robinson alt rebounds. Give me the over 8.5 at plus 146. He had 9 rebounds in game 2. He played 30 minutes. The ankle might be bad. I get it, but he's got to be on the court. This team can't guard anybody. Hart can't shoot. Cat can't defend. He's got to be out there. They were at their best when he was on the court. They lost the game by 5. He was a plus 6 in 30 minutes. He's got to be out there. He had 19 rebounding chances in game 2. He ended up with 9. I think 8.5 is a good price here at plus 146. Give me Mitch Robinson once again over on his rebounds. Alt rebounds at 8.5 at plus 146 as my dog. Now it's time for the underdog entry. Lonte, I know that Terrell and I hit the underdog entry for the WNBA card on Saturday, so no pressure. But what do you like for underdog fantasy entries for this one?
Man, I think you did a great job of breaking that Tyrese Halliburton thing down. So I'm sold on that. If you want to go lower on that 20.5, I think that's a really good. I think that's a really good play there. I don't know if you want to throw in McConnell just for the hell of it because he's been money.
Sure, why not? That's my guy. You know, that's my guy.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out what else did we like.
Bridges. Go with the PR.
Bridges. Yeah, I like Bridges PR. I love Bridges in this spot, man. I love Bridges in this spot.
Sure. So once again, for the 3-pick entry for underdog, we're going to go with Halliburton lower, 20.5 points. We'll go with McConnell higher, 13.5 PRA, and we'll go with Mikal Bridges higher, 25.5 PRA. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the show. Reminder, we will not be back tomorrow night. We'll be back on Monday morning for the next episode. So looking forward to it. Hopefully, we have at least one competitive series. If both series are a 3-0 lead, it would kind of suck. Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But either way, Lonte, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, man, I'm on XX Lonte XX. I'm always on there. I'm not really a big tweeter, but man, shout out to everybody in the chat who came in. They could Saturday night, they could be enjoying their night. They're here with us, so shout out to them for joining.
Forget about that. You could be watching the game right now.
That too. Yeah, that too. But yeah, man, shout out to those guys who always and gals if there are any girls in there for coming and joining us on a Saturday night, man. That's true love right there. So definitely appreciate that.
Yep. Thanks for stopping by though. If I'm on Twitter, Reichel Radio. Till next time, good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.